Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to A Better World with Adrienne. Thank you so much for pressing play, for tuning in, for giving your time, energy, intention, your most precious resources in this lifetime to this podcast. As always, I'm just so grateful that you're here. I'm grateful to serve and to be channeling and sharing these transmissions each week on the podcast. So I love long form content so much because this is where real breakthroughs happen. There's so much that you cannot put into a square on Instagram, that you cannot put into a Facebook post, that you cannot put into short form video. And I'm just endlessly grateful for this space, for every single soul who tunes in and the positive ripple that it makes. And I do invite you, encourage you, share this with someone you love. Like whether it's this week's episode and it makes you think of someone or other episodes, or you just want to share the show and just share the light. The more we share, the more we elevate the planet. And there's just so much going on right now. There is so much light that is being revealed. And at the very same time, there's darkness being exposed. So it's just an important time to be alive. All of our souls chose to be here at this certain time. And I'm grateful to be sharing this week's episode. Before we dive into today's topic, one big blasting shout it from the rooftops announcement. The holiday hive mind starts on 11/11. This is your soul glow up. This is my Holy Habits Intensive. You are going to be the healthiest, happiest, most vibrant, most vital version of yourself going into 2026 you've ever been. These are the holidays where you actually stay on point with your habits, where you say no to that family recipe that has made you sick your entire life, where you finally go to the root of what it means to love, trust, and respect yourself from the root in the moments no one sees except you. You don't need to be feeling like you're failing in your health for this to be a amazing space for you, or you could be like, wow, my health really kind of went off the rails in 2025. I've got to do this intensive. Like both extremes and anywhere in between, really all you need is a deep desire for a soul glow up through your physical vitality and mastering your habits. So this starts on 11/11, which is about 1 week after this podcast is dropping. So go to the link in the show notes and apply. This is one of my signature programs, my signature mastermind inside New Earth Elite. A lot of new stuff is coming. And yeah, this is the big thing going on in November, big invitation. And it's only for 5 people. So it's highly intimate and seriously life-changing. So the link to the application is in the show notes. If you have questions, reach out to me directly. I am so excited to be leading this space of powerhouses. Okay, let us call upon the altar. On the altar today, I have a big bouquet of roses, flowers, like the most stunning, beautiful bouquet of flowers that I received from a new in-person client. And I just arrived to our first session and they had these gorgeous flowers, and this person doesn't realize how much I worship flowers and how big flowers are a part of my life. And so they're pink, they're white, they're magenta. It's bringing a lot of heart chakra energy. I've been getting a lot of heart chakra energy. We've got to be focusing on the heart. We've got to be focusing on love. We've got to be focusing on keeping our hearts open even when there are things in life, things in the world that would make it so easy to close it up, right? So that's big on the altar today. No matter where you're tuning in from, what you are doing, let's do one big breath together to just connect our energy. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. I am excited to speak into this topic of how to transcend a sick society. How to transcend a sick society. So it's no secret, whether this is your first episode, if this is your first episode, please reach out to me and let me know. Um, Welcome. Or if you've been listening since I started this podcast back in 2022, a better world, the whole premise of a better world with Adrian is that like, this world stands to be improved. There are improvements that we desire to make. There are things we want to change to make things better, to make things more aligned with the ancient codes, with harmony, love, abundance, like vitality, health, like all of this. And we've really got to, this is a matrix situation. This is a red pill, blue pill situation. And what we're witnessing right now at the time of this recording, and honestly, as we get toward closer to 2027 and beyond 2027, we are going to be exposed to the sickness of society, the structures that have caused a sick society. So, something that I say many times to my clients, I'm like, the system is not broken. The system is working exactly how it was designed. It was designed to oppress the masses. It was designed to promote lack consciousness. It was designed for people to outsource their power to structures outside themselves. It was designed to create this illusion of safety and this illusion of security where people just mindlessly go through the motions and disassociate and conform and have their nervous systems leveraged against them all day, every day. Now, you may be listening and you're like, wow, great episode, Adrian. I feel uplifted already. And what I want to share with you is that every single thing I teach, I share, I guide in my healing and my high performance coaching in astrology, literally everything is from an empowerment lens. And we cannot change something or alter something if we don't accept that it is right now, right? So there's something in quantum creation where we realize that this whole thing is a hologram. This whole thing is a hologram, and you get to decide your reality and you can create literally anything. And like I've been speaking about, especially in the last couple episodes previously in October of 2025, is that the unseen realm is more real than the seen. And so we live in a society where people live based on circumstance, and it is the direct opposite of how to create with spirit, how to create with God source energy, with the stars, with the cosmos, with the universe, whatever you call this force, this unseen force that is taking care of us. Maybe it's Mother Earth, maybe it's Father Sky, maybe it's nature, maybe it's the wind, like maybe it's flowers, I co-create with flowers all day, every day. It really is this empowered lens that you are the creator of your reality. Your one job is to be like the creator. Your one job is to run toward your soul mission with wild delight and wild abandon and gain the skill sets and do the deep healing and alchemy required of you to live your soul mission. Okay? That is literally the whole point. When each of us do this, just like I say in the intro, every single episode, when every single one of us does this and we live our dream, and when you live your dream and you create your desires, you automatically are living your purpose, then you automatically are pouring from overflow, then you automatically give to others. If all of us do this, we cannot help but build a world we're proud of. And so when I share, it's like there's a sick society. There's a sick society, there's a matrix, and it's about really transcending it, okay? It's not about um it's not about leaving the matrix or pretending the matrix doesn't exist, but it's like, okay, how do we realize and how do we see, hey, there's this matrix and it's an illusion because I'm a child of God, I'm a child of Creator, and I can bend reality at any moment. If enough of us are able to transcend this living of circumstance or what people have fed us or the status quo or mediocrity or all of these things, then we will tip the scales, right? So, this episode is how to transcend a sick society. We live in a sick society. A lot is coming up. And why do I share this? I share this to empower you. I share this to offer you tools and insights. I share this to really teach and guide and lead from a grounded place. There are way too many mystics out there where they just want, when I say transcend a sick society, they actually are in addictive escapism avoidance tendencies of not acknowledging the human experience, not acknowledging the 3D, not acknowledging the earthly plane. The truth is, Mother Earth is incredibly sick. We have really, really abused her and extracted her life force. And it's just the root prime example of how the feminine has been extracted and abused. Um, for the past 2,000 years. 2,000 years ago, Yeshua, Jesus incarnated. 2,000 years ago, Jesus and Mary Magdalene performed miracles, okay? And they said miracles much greater than these will be performed. Okay, we are in that timeline now. We are in that timeline. That's why Kabbalah is being uncovered again. Why was Kabbalah hidden for thousands and thousands of years? Oh, because dark forces didn't want us to know about it because we would liberate ourselves, right? And also, people that have dark agendas can use Kabbalah as well. Why do you think horrific events on our planet always happen with specific astrology? If you think dark forces don't use astrology, think again. Okay? I'm going full maverick in this episode. However, I want you to really know in your soul and in your bones and in your spirit that this is not coming from fear. Fear is avoidant. Power is I see the truth. I see what's going on. I'm going to transcend it. I'm going to transmute it. And I'm going to stay in my power no matter what's going on. Okay? Escapism would have in 2020 would have been, oh, it's not, there's no pandemic, there's no this, there's no that. No, that's what a lot of the spiritual community actually does. And they say that they're quote unquote free or quote unquote living off the grid. Nobody is free if they're broke. Nobody is free if they're dissociated. Nobody is free if they're blasting off to other realms and not in their human experience. You came here to be human for a reason. So whether you come into my world and you're a deeply magical, mystical creature, and I'm one of the guides that's here to ground you down into the practical so you can build your empire, or you come from the other side of the coin where you're like, I'm a powerhouse, like practical, amazing, successful human, and I'm here to unlock my ancient codes, to unlock my spiritual gifts, to unlock more of this quantum creation. I tend to notice that people show up to me. We all gravitate towards one or the other. I personally feel extremely harmonized with it now. I do have tendencies, especially if I'm in a situation where fear or lack comes up for me or doubt. If we all get tested. Every single level of the game, you get tested, and the tests get more advanced, they get more sophisticated, they get more intricate, right? So all of this to say this is about empowerment. This is not about pretending that things aren't happening. And it's also about, can you live in such a way where you can transcend that, tap into the light of the creator. And when you do tap into the light of the creator and create, that's when you can actually make shifts in the really horrendous, traumatic, real things that are happening on our planet, right? So it's really this holding both. It's like, yes, we are transcending and we're also not pretending that it's not happening. Like one of the things I say about my modality, cosmic cellular breath work, is that it works so fast they think we bypass because it does work so fast. They think we bypass. I've been accused of this, and a lot of my clients have been accused of like, oh, you're bypassing. What does bypassing mean? It's when people um bypass the real alchemical DNA, cellular, and emotional experiences that require healing and alchemy. Now, we're not bypassing. What we're doing is transcending, okay? How to transcend a sick society. I felt inspired to record this episode because at the time of this recording, there's so much going on in the US with SNAP benefits being taken away allegedly, supposedly. To be quite honest, I limit my exposure to mainstream media because it's all the talking heads. Their one job is to incite fear. They're not sharing truth. They're not sharing the light. Like, literally, if you want to feel like shit and be disconnected from God source energy, watch the news. Scroll on your phone. Consume mainstream media. There actually are dark entities that come through screens. People don't realize this. Um, I want to speak into this because there's a big surge of fear and panic. And what are SNAP benefits if you're not in the US? This is our food assistance program. It's like people that are on unemployment or people that are like living below poverty wages. They get these special like credits that they can buy groceries and food. Okay. So it's to help people in need that need food. Okay. It's a government assistance program in the US. And um, I honestly don't know if they're going to take it away or not. However, it's a big topic of discussion. And honestly, my clients that have really doubled down and created wealth, they are using their wealth to solve things like this. And no, they're not solving it within the current matrix. They're building their own thing outside because that's what New Earth is. Um, People are freaking out because this government program is ending and people are in chaos, fear, panic, mania about, oh my gosh, like people are going to go hungry. Like the government's taking away this help. And what I really want everyone receiving this transmission to be deeply aware of is that between now and 2027 and the time after 2027, the systems of oppression that have given our sick society false ideas of safety and comfort and stability will shatter. Okay? What's being exposed right now is that, and I knew a long time ago that they would use food as a weapon at some point. I knew, and when I say they, I just mean dark forces on our planet. There are dark forces and there are forces of light, right? So this is and why this is also in Scorpio season and Scorpio rules taboos. Why do taboos exist? To keep you disinformed and misempowered and easily manipulated. Government, I stopped trusting the government a long time ago. Do I pay taxes because I don't feel like getting arrested because getting arrested is not convenient or practical for me fulfilling my soul mission? Yes. Am I a write-off queen? And does my tax professional tell me that I should sometimes pump the brakes on the write-offs? Yes. Um, we're in a moment where society people are realizing that a lot of the structures that they have leaned on unconsciously, just being in trance, just going through the motions, just being kind of like a mindless following zombie energy, more stuff like this is going to happen. And there's always been extreme health propaganda. Like I'm just going to say it, okay? The food system, the healthcare system, the school system, the government, it's all going to be wiped. None of it has ever had our best interest at heart, okay? These have become systems that profit off people's pain, that profit off people's fear, that profit off spreading darkness and blocking people from the truth of their soul. Okay? New Earth is like part, New Earth is about abundance, vitality, overflow, love, and harmony, all in rhythm with Mother Earth. Okay? We live in a sick society. There's health propaganda left, right, and center. Okay, just one example. I could do thousands and thousands of examples, and this is why the work I do in the Holy Habits Hive Mind and the Holiday Hive Mind, and what I do with myself and my food choices is so radical and so life-changing, is because I very extremely follow the ancient codes. One example of health propaganda, it's like people tell you, oh, when you have a fever and you're sick, you should rest and lay in bed. You should eat crackers and drink Gatorade and um and take antibiotics, okay? All of that causes inflammation and stops the energy flow in your body and makes you sick longer. And antibiotics keep your body from creating strength and fighting off the sickness that it was designed to fight off. So then your body is frail and fragile and sick long term. What actually cures sickness, the flu? Fasting, cold exposure, not doing a big, heavy lifting, but moving your body, being outside. Okay, crackers and Gatorade, all of that creates inflammation. There's gluten, there's sugar. Sugar is poison. Okay, so many stuff. My grandparents died with brain, like Alzheimer's. It all is linked back to sugar. It's all linked back to gut health. I was just reading a study the other day. There's a lot of and what is propaganda? I'm going to look up the definition of that because I feel fired up. I want to I want to know what the yeah, information often biased or misleading that is used to influence the opinions, emotions, and behaviors of a group to benefit a specific cause or person. So there's a lot of health propaganda that you have been fed literally your whole life. I don't care what country you live in, where on the globe. I think it's very extreme in America. However, it's everywhere. That, oh, this ABCD is healthy, when actually it's creating chronic disease, chronic inflammation. If we actually studied and returned to the ancient codes and learned from our ancestors, that's what's actually going to create health. Not being sick, by the way, doesn't mean you're healthy. It means you're stagnant. And if you're not growing, you're dying. That's why my work, it's a soul glow up. Your body is the house for your soul, and you only get one. Most people trash it all day, every day. A lot of people think they're doing things that are healthy when it's actually not healthy. Okay? Like, for one example, is like eating nightshades. All of our ancestors, if they ate nightshades at all, because nightshades are extremely inflammatory in the human body, they cooked them in a very specific way to kill the lectins in the skin of the the vegetables. The skin of most vegetables is poisonous to protect them in the wild. Why do we think we get to eat all these skins? We're poisoning ourselves. Inflammation. Okay? I'm extremely radical in this way, and I have radical elite results in my body, in my mind, in my soul. Okay? We live in a sick society. People think being overweight is normal. It's not normal. None of our ancestors were overweight. They were all thin and healthy and fit. Not maybe thin's not the best word, but they were all fit and fertile. Our ancestors did not have issues with fertility. People are doing all these things with IVF. First of all, there's a lot of spiritual reasons why. However, a lot of my clients come to me and they're like, I can't get pregnant. I've been trying to get pregnant. I've been trying to get pregnant. We get really clear on their holy habits. We get really clear on their body. A lot of them, they must lose weight to get their ecosystem on point before they can get pregnant naturally. And then they get pregnant naturally because we leverage the astrology. We're doing a bunch of other like spiritual things. However, what I really want you to receive in this episode is you've got to question every single thing you've ever been taught. We live in societies that profit off us being sick. Now, it's a lot less like this in Europe, which is why I'm relocating to Europe in 2026. I do not want to have kids in the US. I do not want to live in a society that, like, can honestly, I live outside the matrix. I I shop at a tiny little co-op when I'm in, my home base right now in the US is in Michigan, and I come here a few times a year. 2026, I'm going to make a big permanent shift. TBD on the timeline of that. But I've been nomadic for 2 years at this point and going to different land, being called to different land. Um, and transcend the first step to transcending a sick society is to identify a sick society and to question everything. And you've got to be educating yourself with the ancient codes. I just read a study the other day, and this is data backed and it's backed with all of our ancestors. There's been a lot of propaganda that I've seen, and it's a lot from women. They're like, cold plunging isn't good for women. Cold plunging is bad for women, blah, blah, blah. And I never bought it because I love cold plunging. I feel fabulous when I cold plunge. I feel healthy. I feel clear. I'm lean. Um, and I'm happy, honestly. Like, if you only did it for the mood booster, it literally changes your brain chemistry. When I was living in Chicago, I used to get cry. I had the like, I convinced the people that own my cryotherapy place to change their whole business model to a subscription model. And I was like their first high ticket subscription because I was like, I want cryo every day. Because it's so good for you. And with the cryo, you don't get your hair wet, which is a plus. I was I saw a study where it was like cold plunging is actually women actually respond better to cold plunge than men. And it was based on actual study, but it's like, why is there this propaganda out there? Because there's all these women that want a reason not to do stuff that makes them uncomfortable. And they've been fed the lie that women just need to be, oh, like nurtured and soft and warm and coddled. And it's like, yes, being your soft feminine, but for crying out loud, there are things that are healthy for all of us, and it's not going to be comfortable. Honestly, like the more comfortable someone is, the more depressed they are. For real. If the key to happiness is relentlessly riding toward a purpose that lights your soul on fire, that's challenging and meaningful and helps others, that's the key to happiness and making progress on that. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. For real. So I could go on and on about common health propaganda, like things people don't realize how much they're poisoning themselves all day, every day. Like the amount of chemicals people eat. Like and the thing is, some people most people know, and then you're not willing to do the opposite of what the masses do. So you choose to poison yourself rather than stand out and do something different. This is why most people never achieve their dreams. You are unwilling. Do not underestimate the gravitational pull of a sick society, of mediocrity, of social pressure to conform. There's immense social pressure to conform with health. I get teased by my family to this day about the food that I eat because I choose not to poison my body. I choose not to add inflammation to my body, even at a holiday. The worst way to celebrate a holiday is to poison yourself. This is why I'm doing the holiday hive mind, because it's like, wow, the times where it's hardest to follow through on your self-love and self-respect and self-trust with health is actually the holidays, is actually around family, bloodline, all these traditions where people just historically are deeply unhealthy and create sickness. Um, I could go on and on and on, but I really want to bring this through line to this whole episode is like how to transcend a sick society. You've got to think different. You've got to educate yourself. You've got to have mentorship with people. Like maybe I'm not the correct mentor for you. Maybe I am, but you've got to get in spaces where this is the norm, where being insanely healthy and vital is the norm. Because what's normal out there is people that are sad, depressed, fat, in dis-ease, taking like a whole pharmacy of pills every day. Like none of that is normal. It's normalized. Okay. And the final piece I want to bring through in this transmission is that Uranus retrograde is in Taurus. Uranus is retrograding back into Taurus. We had Uranus in Gemini in July. And from July until November, we have had a key window into what the next 7 years are going to look like with the Uranus, the planet of shock, upheaval, change, and revolution in Gemini, the sign of messages, data, innovation, like quick moving energy, multiple things at once, curiosity. It's also the spreading of misinformation and propaganda and gossip in low vibration, right? We're going back. Uranus is going back into Taurus for the last time since 2018. Uranus has been in Taurus, and one of the biggest things is that there's been shock, upheaval, change, and revolution in the food system. Uranus rules food. Uranus rules values. Or not Uranus. Taurus rules food. Taurus rules values. Taurus rules Mother Earth. Taurus rules wealth. All of the systems, Taurus rules stability. Uranus has been shattering the stability in these areas. So we can expect this. I saw this snap thing and I was like, this is Uranus retrograding back into Taurus. There's a final piece of the puzzle of the dismantling of these structures that are supposed to be quote unquote stable. What I really want you to take away from this episode is that no one's coming to save you. Relying on systems outside of yourself is one of the most dangerous things you can do. You've got to rely on yourself. You've got to rely on creator. You've got to learn how to live from the land. You've got to learn how to eat from the land you live on. Food shortages, like all of these things, it will happen. And I talked with Aisha about this in our episode on the Age of Aquarius, is like, there's a revolution happening right now. And what everybody's focused on is like what's coming and what is like heaven on earth that we're creating. And it's important to focus on that for sure. And at the very same time, people are losing sight of the fact that there's spiritual warfare and that there's immense challenge right now, and that things will shatter. Things are shattering and they will shatter for something better to be born. So you've got to permanently unclench that grip from the things that are making you sick, keeping you sick. whether it's in your brain, your body, your soul, your bank account. How to transcend a sick society. This is how. These mindsets, these ways of being. You've got to take command of your nervous system. I do that in my modality. You've got to bet on you and permanently unhook. So that's today's episode. That's what's going on in the energy in the world. I want you to question literally everything you've ever been taught about what is quote unquote healthy. Because 99.999% of it is bullshit that's keeping you sick by design. Because when you're sick, you're not in your power. You don't create. It's impossible for you to access your potential. It's important. All of this is important. Whether you feel like you're a very healthy, vital person, or you feel like, oh my God, like I've struggled with health my whole life, your next level demands an upgrade in this area. I myself, I'm doing an intense health upgrade right now. And literally my Western doctors, they say you're my healthiest patient. And in my mind, I'm like, compared to who? Compared to all the sad, overweight, sick people, I don't compare myself to them. I compare myself to me and my best, and the fact that I am a representative of God source energy, and I'm going to be hot, and I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to glow, and I'm going to be epic, and I'm going to be strong, and I'm going to be vital from the ancient codes of real vitality, the soul glow up. So all of this is coming to a head right now. I wanted to speak on the astrology, the energy, some of what's going on, but you've got to transcend. Like, that's why the quadrants of New Earth Elite, which is my movement that I'm pioneering, you should definitely join. The way you join is become my client, get in my world, and we fucking explode in magic. That's how you join. Um, the quadrants are healthy, wealthy, happy, and free. Healthy is first for a reason. Stop focusing on wealth and focus on your health. The money will come. Stop focusing on happiness, focus on your health. You'll be happier. Stop focusing on being free. You're focusing on being free when you're not even free within yourself because you eat that food that you know is bad for you in the quiet moment. You're caging yourself because you don't even trust yourself in these quiet moments between you and creator. And a lot of it comes down to food. A lot of it comes down to workouts. People trash their bodies every single day, all day, and it's quote unquote normal. It's not normal. That shit's disrespectful to you and to God. And this is an extreme. However, it's what's true. And extreme ways of life create extreme results. Moderation creates mediocrity. So that's this episode. I want you to be the healthiest you've ever been. I want you to transcend a sick society. This is how. If you want to go deep into this work with me, the Holy Habits Holiday Hive Mind starts 11/11. Run, don't walk. Your soul glow up. You are going to be the hottest, healthiest version of yourself you've ever been, using your body as a portal to manifest your dreams and potential. Link is in the show notes. We start 11/11. I do have a couple spots open for one-on-one premium luxe mentorship. This is for you if you want to ride with me one-on-one, if you want to meet me in person around the globe in 2026 for literally the year of exponential growth and change. So the link to that is in the show notes. I love you, love you, love you. Share this episode with a friend. Go out there, be the change, be the light, be the real you, which means you love yourself through your health. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.